Good morning or almost afternoon. Today is another work from home day. We're on a mandatory rotation at work. I talked about this in past vlogs. I'm so far behind on vlogs, so I don't even know what this is going to look like when I finally get around to editing it. So it's a work from home day because at work we're on a mandatory rotation. 2 people in, 2 people out, because we're in the middle of the COVID-19 situation. We're trying to limit contact interaction, which is awesome. Not the pandemic, that sucks, but it's awesome working from home. I love it. It's like the best thing ever. It's just, I don't know. I excel at it. I'm far more productive. I love being around the kids and Kelsey, and I'm a pretty disciplined individual, so being able to balance that and getting work done is something I feel like I do well. Plus Kelsey makes me lunch, so that's awesome. I have a topic for today's vlog that I really want to talk about in light of the pandemic and the uncertainty and everything that's going on in the world, and I want to share something from a very personal perspective view in hopes that maybe it helps you at some point in your life if you ever encounter a similar situation. This is not just it seems so unique and so different and something like it can never happen again, but these uncertain times, particularly economic uncertain times, are going to keep happening and recurring. And I think basically what I want to share is kind of what's my mindset, how I'm approaching that for me and my family, and maybe that will be helpful for you and your family, figuring it out. But first, I'm going to eat lunch. I'm going to do some more work. I'm going to work out, and then I've got to head into work actually. So it's kind of a work from home day, not work from home day. But throughout the vlog today, I'm going to talk a little bit about just how we're modulating our finances and our financial plan to just kind of weather what's happening in the economy right now, which just to give a little preview, it's currently April 2nd, and they just released the jobs or the unemployment claims report, and something like 6.6.
Can they come outside?
Yeah, okay. Did you finish lunch? How are you guys doing?
Good.
Did you guys have a good lunch?
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad you came out to join me.
Why did you call your camera vlog?
No.
Like that?
I called the camera vlog because that's what we use the camera for, is to make a vlog.
Like Adley does?
Yeah, like Adley. Like your YouTuber guy. YouTuber girl.
No, a YouTuber guy.
Oh, okay. Alright,
Because I'm a guy.
Okay, you gonna hang out here while I work? Alright.
I got my new clothes out here, but how will we find my other new clothes?
I don't know. They're getting outside for a little post-lunch, pre-nap playtime. What I was going to say, though, as the boys came out, was just to share a little bit of a preview of where we are in terms of the economy and probably a lot of people's finances. Is, they just released the jobs or the unemployment claims for last week, and they're up to a total of like 6.6 million people filing a claim for unemployment. So companies are actively laying people off. The stock market is way down from where it was in the first quarter. It continues to be pretty volatile, up and down. Just lots of we just had a local company that furloughed 800 employees. It's pretty crazy. So I think there's a lot of people out there who are either they're under a lot of financial stress, or there's a lot of us who have some concern about the uncertainty that lays ahead. And so I think we need to be taking some steps and adjusting our mindsets to address that. So that's why I want to talk about it. But first, work out, and then we'll talk about this as the day unfolds. lunch at my desk means lunch working out, which is super killer when I can just stand up and go work out on my lunch break. Yeah, so I guess to get the conversation started real quick before I jump into this workout, biggest thing I think for myself and for our family is we want to make sure in this very uncertain time that financially we're acting responsibly, and we are preparing ourselves for the possibility that we could end up like a lot of people are ending up, where they don't have a source of income coming in. So the first thing we're trying to do is we're trying to make a plan about, okay, what in our budget, what in our spending is essential and what's not essential. That way we have a plan of action that if something like that happens and we no longer have a straightforward source of income, we can say, okay, these are the things we must buy and must spend. This is the fat that we can cut to hopefully make our runway to find our next source of income, that much longer. So that's kind of step one, essential versus non-essential spending assessment. The kids have just taken over my gym, just taking it over.
Into my bag for a multi-day backcountry adventure in the snow, but first...
Workout's over. I still do track and record all of my workouts. I don't know if you work out, you should do that, and I actually just do it handwritten on my iPad. I've done it 1,000 different ways, but handwriting, it seems to work best for me, and it's nice to have logbooks of years and years of training to look back on and get ideas and just see your progress. It's kind of an unrelated note to the video, but something to share. Workout's over. It's time for me to get ready because I actually have to go to some meetings at work. On a very related note, with the topic of the video and the economy and how we're preparing, the reason I have to go to work today and not just work the whole day from home is there's actually doing employee meetings about basically furloughing workers or temporarily laying people off so that these employees can be eligible for unemployment benefits, and hopefully we can get them hired back on and working ASAP. So it's one of those interesting. It's definitely one of those interesting moments where you realize how something that seems so far away can all of a sudden touch home very close. Luckily for me, it's not impacting my work or my job yet, but I think it does hammer home that point that it can happen to people like you, it can happen to people close to you, and something that you perceive as being not a threat to you or your way of life or your lifestyle, it really is. So we really need to be taking this whole situation seriously. And so that would probably be maybe point number 2 of how we are preparing or how we're trying to change our behaviors is, obviously there's the whole virus thing going on, but then on the flip side is the economic fallout that's going to happen, and preparing ourselves for that as well. I told you guys first and foremost we're creating that essential versus non-essential list of expenses, but second to that is getting our mindset right and not hiding under a rock and not trying to believe that this isn't going to happen to us, but actually trying to act like, hey, this could and possibly will happen to us, so we need to adjust and act like it. All right, I'm gonna get ready and pack my stuff up and head in. the next logical question you may be asking in terms of the financial planning, the financial adjustments that Kelsey and I are making is, okay, you're making this list, essential versus non-essential, and you're changing your mindset to feel like maybe no more income is coming our way, but are you actually taking action on those things? And I guess the best way to answer that is sort of, kind of. We're doing it in sort of a hybrid way, and I'll explain, but I've got to get to work or I'm going to be late for these meetings. All right, I'm gonna head in here, listen to this tough conversation, tough announcement. Really stark reminder of where we are and why our conversation today is so relevant. But yeah, I'll be back in a bit. All right, meeting's over. Went well. It definitely was much more positive than I thought it was going to be. The employees, all the other employees seemed to receive the information at least better than I thought they were going to receive it. But one caveat is the meeting I was in, the other employees, they actually work on one of their part of the business is actually going to stay running. So they kind of have the option to keep working or to be furloughed for a short time being. So it's probably not representative, but yeah, it's pretty interesting experience, for somebody like me, who's pretty early on in their career, especially in kind of a corporate setting, to experience something like this. So just trying to take it in and learn from it. Actually, while I was in there, I got a text from my mom that my stepdad, actually, the company he works for is probably going to be laying people off as well, and he may be one of them. So it's a rough time. So we should keep talking about what we were talking about, which before I left the house, I mentioned Kelsey and I are doing somewhat of a hybrid approach to this whole financial action plan. We're identifying essential versus non-essential, and we're getting into that mindset of, hey, we need to really be mindful of using all the money that we have available to us, very thoughtfully. But we aren't yet engaging into the action plan of cutting all non-essential spending. We are still going to spend on some things that are quality of life things. We are still going to spend money on making progress on our financial goals, paying down our debt, investing, saving an emergency fund, or continuing to build an emergency fund. But the way we're doing it's kind of odd, or I guess different. Instead of actually taking that money, some of the non-essential spending, we are just spending the cash. But for things that are saving, investing, or paying off debt related, we are taking that money and we are actually pulling it out of our main checking account, our main spending account, and we're putting it into our secondary checking or our primary savings account. Basically, one, to make sure that we don't spend it inadvertently. So we still want to make sure that what we earmarked it for, it's earmarked for. But we don't necessarily want to go ahead and put it towards the debt or put it into our retirement account or stick it into an emergency fund that we don't have immediate access to, because we don't know what lies ahead for us for the next 2 or 3 months. We may need liquidity, and we want to keep as much liquidity as we can right now. So this is kind of accomplishes both those things for us. Is we keep making progress on paper. We're still earmarking the money towards our goals, towards some of that non-essential spending, but we're not actually letting go of the cash yet. We will let go of that cash and we will put it towards those accounts, those debts, those investment accounts, those savings accounts, once we get to a period where there seems to be more certainty, the economy seems to be coming back around, and there's more certainty that the income that we have is going to remain. So that's kind of like the third move we're taking right now, or the third move we're applying moving forward for the time being. Time to get back home and finish out this work day, though. Just to to take a minute and talk about something though that's kind of more of a positive note in this whole situation is I'm really thankful that my boss and subsequently the company that I work for is giving us this flexibility, or at least my team this flexibility to work from home and rotating us both from a standpoint of I'm thankful that they're considering our safety and trying to do the best to cut down on that person-to-person interaction. I really appreciate that, but I also really appreciate the flexibility that it's allowed. I don't know why I can't talk, but I really do appreciate that, and I know not everyone's as lucky. My hope is, and I may be getting my hopes up too much, but my hope is that this level of remoteness that we're seeing from companies getting used to work at home environments, my hope is that it's going to continue to stick around, and I think it'd be really beneficial if it did. All right, I'm going to focus on driving now. I'm home. Where's your brother? Right there? I can't see him. Where is he? Kyler! I think Cal's right there. Avengers! Assemble! Avengers! Assemble! Let's go outside. Oh, let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. We had a super tasty dinner. Kelsey made spaghetti and meatballs, and now we are gonna go burn some of that energy off out here outside. I've got Captain America with me and Spider-Man. What, Spider-Man? You want to ride in this thing?
Okay.
Okay, Spider-Man can ride in this roller. Let's go out there by Cal first. Captain America. Spider-Man's gonna ride in the stroller.
This America said he wants to ride too.
Okay. Alright, who's getting in where?
America's getting in.
Okay, you can get in there. No, Spider-Man, where are you going? In here?
No, I put that's
and I guess to wrap this whole video up, or this vlog for the day, as we are ending our day with a little bit of playtime, is, you know, the last thing we're really doing. Okay, let's open this up. The last thing we're really doing to kind of adjust to our new normal, the new world we're living, is just be mindful of how good we have it, and be grateful for how well off we are compared to a lot of other people right now at this moment, and at every moment going forward, especially considering that the worst case scenario right now with this whole pandemic situation is you or one of your loved ones gets this virus and ends up, you know, dying. And luckily for us, we have a couple family members who have had the virus but who are recovering and doing well. So yeah, just the last thing I guess on our list is to just be extremely thankful and extremely grateful while taking all those practical measures we talked about earlier.
Found my new car.
You found it?
No,
well, that makes a great end to a great day, doesn't it?
I think it was I didn't.
That's the perfect ending. Let's end it there.
I didn't see right there.